This life.
This life.
Yeah.
Hand over to Michael.
We've covered past life. We're now into this life. I think we'll start this life with a look at reincarnation. And I think most of us in here will agree that reincarnation is a thing. But there are people, of course, who believe that when we reincarnate, we don't necessarily reincarnate as human beings, aren't they? That we come back as animals. And I must admit, there was a time in my life where I firmly believed I was a wild dog. Firmly believed I was a wild dog. But now, thanks to spiritual evolution, many people believe me to be a massive bore. And on the subject of reincarnation, I was recently refused by my health insurance people because I believed in reincarnation. They said I had a pre-existing condition. And we have many friends with different views. And one of my friends refuses to believe in reincarnation. He absolutely throws out reincarnation, the concept. I don't believe in reincarnation, he says. And he didn't believe in it in his last life either. Now, little levity to open part 2. Let's set it off in the right direction. And I think the one thing we can say in all seriousness here today with regard to this life is, here we all are again. And I don't mean in this room. Here with a little sigh perhaps of resignation and a little look at life and thinking, oh my goodness, what are we doing here? Here we all are again. We're in a bright new set of clothes this time, but here we are, turning up at the same old party. But we're back here, according to Joseph, for one of two reasons. Only one of two reasons. That's why we find ourselves here. We'll examine those in a moment, but I'd first of all like to have a look at the reincarnation myth. The reincarnation myth. Reincarnation, the general view of reincarnation, always worried me as a younger man. The fact that according to some beliefs we come back time and time and time again, time after time after time, and that we've no choice in the matter. It is a continuous loop. It is the snake biting its own tail. And after countless lifetimes, if we're lucky, we earn the right to escape from here and to move onwards. That didn't set well with me, and it didn't sit well with me because of free will. Free will. If free will is a universal constant, then I am free, although society would tell you otherwise today, to think my own thoughts. You are free to think your own thoughts. I can change my mind at any time. You can change your mind at any time. In any challenge, I can decide to move forwards, or to move to one side or to the other, to move right or left, so to speak. My decision, your decision, at any point. So, if free will is a universal constant, and Joseph tells us that it is, then how can free will not apply to reincarnation? And Joseph, fortunately, chased away my worries with regard to reincarnation during the communications that we gathered together as the Joseph Communications books, because there is a theme that runs through the books, and it is that reincarnation is a choice, not a mandate, and that we are here because we have chosen to be here. What were we thinking of? Well, Joseph explains it in two ways. There are two reasons why souls choose to come back here. And each of us, I feel, without us being arrogant in this room, can say that we are here for one of those reasons. But let's examine the other. So, we have souls who come back here because they haven't, in their last lifetime or the lifetimes before that lifetime, considered that there is anything other than what their material senses deliver to them. They've come here and never questioned, perhaps not for one day or for 1 minute, why they are here. Never questioned what they are. Never questioned if there is a bigger picture. And as a result of that, they have totally invested all their energies in this level, in the experiences of this level, in the sensory delights of this level, and also in the sensory non-delights, in the pain and suffering of this level. And so, when they move on, they are suddenly surrounded by spiritual advisors. That's if they can see them. Sometimes they can see them, sometimes they can't, because their vibration has not been raised above this level. So sometimes there's no perception of those advisors at all. Sometimes they see them and think, ghosties, terrible, there are ghosts around me. What am I to do? And sometimes they can discuss with their spiritual advisors where they should go. And the spiritual advisors say, don't come back to earth. There is bliss ahead for you. There is a journey that unfolds and unfolds and unfolds into greater bliss and greater love. You are returning to infinity. You are returning to an angelic level. You are returning to the heart of the divine that you are a part of. Why come back to earth? And they say, I really liked beer, you know. Or, I had a relationship that was broken in my last life. I'm sure I can put it right this time round. Or, I had a business that failed in my past life, and I'm sure I've learnt from that and I can put it right the next time around. Or, there are some senses that I really liked on earth and I would like to revisit them. And they will say, well, if you come back to earth, surely you experienced pain, mentally, physically. Surely you experienced sorrow as people around you moved on to higher vibrations and you lost them seemingly. Doesn't matter, I'm used to that. What you are talking about frightens me. And so I'm coming back to earth. And the spiritual advisors shake their heads and say, well, there's nothing we can do. You'll have to go back. But before you go back, we can suggest to you some of the situations that you're going to meet, because your karma, your earthly vibrations are waiting for you. We'll revisit you if you go back to the earth, and we'll bring back to you unresolved situations, spiritually speaking. How would you like to go into the library and open somebody else's book and see what it was like? So they go into the library and they open one book and go through one person's experiences that will be similar to the experiences that they will go through if they reincarnate. They close that book and they go to another one, and then they go to another one. They can spend as long as they want in the library. And at the end of that, the spiritual advisors say, well, you've seen what could happen to you, what is likely to happen to you. What do you want to do? And they say, we want to come back. We want to come back. And so back they come. So a percentage of souls across this globe are here because they haven't, spiritually speaking, learned any better. Because they haven't opened their eyes. Because they haven't wakened up. Because their mind, their spiritual mind and heart are closed to possibilities. Because they are still suffering from the effects of the fall, and they haven't put their heads above the parapet to see what is further along the horizon. The second reason that souls come back is because they have a mission. Because they have looked at this world, they know that we're all connected, they know that it's one out, all out, it has to be, and they know that they can make a difference whilst in a physical body. And so they elect, and I'm including, not arrogantly, please God, all of us in here, we have come back with a mission. We didn't need to come back. We got past that stage where we looked at the earth and thought, oh, I must come back. I'll have a bigger telly this time. Sounds ridiculous, but it's probably one of the reasons why people come back. I can have a 4K Blu-ray player. We come back because our hearts bleed, spiritually speaking. Because we all got into this together, into the fall mistake together. We all have to get out of it together. The only problem is, Once we incarnate, we might have that nagging feeling from inside that we have to do something spiritually, but because of the masking effects of the fall and the density of this planet, the atmosphere of this planet, we're not quite sure what that something is. So let's look at the ways, and let's also try and encourage those people that will eventually see this on film as a video, who also feel that they are here on a mission but are not quite sure what that mission is and how to cope with that mission, how to open that mission up. So, I reckon there are about 6 ways that we can help, that we can open up our mission. And the first thing we can do is to act as conduits for the light. We can act as conduits for higher vibrations. Now, we're no strangers to this in what we do in the World Meditation Alliance. And in the World Meditation Alliance, we work with a set of vibrations that have been indicated to us by the Persian gentleman as the spokesman for the soul group, and we get ourselves out of the way. And we realize by getting those pesky thoughts out of the way, by getting those pesky worries and challenges of life out of the way and saying, if they don't matter, out you go. The more we get ourselves out of the way, the better conduits we become. And you would think, well, why can't the higher vibrations simply impress themselves on this earth at this time? They can't because of the density of this place. They have to get in through stealth. We're stealth workers. We channel down slightly the light that we are capable of streaming out, and then we stream it out into the world on this level, so that it can affect those souls that are ready to raise their vibrations. So, the first thing we can do is to act as a conduit for the light. The second thing we can do, we can serve the divine and humanity by seeing beyond the everyday. The first thing, I've got used to this over the years, but the first thing I think upon waking is, I hope nothing's dropped. It's not, I hope nothing's dropped off during the night, but I am a spirit. That's my first thought. That aligns me for the day. I am a spirit. And whatever happens during this day happens in the knowledge that I am a spirit first. And so we have always to seek the bigger picture. Not what is being presented to us, but what do we feel is right inside? What does that inner view, that inner TV set, tell us about every situation that we come across? Where is the God in the situations that we come across? Where is the good in the situations that we come across? How can we affect those situations? Can we send light into them? Are we being pulled in, and it's easy to do, are we being pulled in by the darker side of society at the moment? Are we investing in what we're being told? And as I put on Facebook yesterday, we can have a non-stick week, like a non-stick pan, because anything lesser than our vibrations cannot stick to our personal vibrations. So if we elevate ourselves in thought and in deed above the darker vibrations of the world, we become non-stick to those vibrations. They slide off, they don't affect us, and they make us, therefore, more effective workers for the light, more effective workers in transforming the world angelically. Way number 3, we can serve by becoming increasingly attractive. Now, believe me, if I, by mistake, happen to catch my reflection in the mirror, as I grow older day by day, as we all are doing, I don't think, you know, Michael. You are becoming so much more attractive with each day that passes. I'm talking, of course, about us becoming more attractive vibrationally speaking. We attract similar vibrations to ourselves, which is why it's important to be non-stick people. So by concentrating on the spiritual, by living each day as a spiritually minded person, we attract more light. But not only that, we attract towards ourselves those people who are perhaps taking the first steps on the spiritual path. And we might just say one word to them. Or we might meet them in a cafe or in a bus stop. And by connecting to them on a spiritual level, we alter their perception and we get them to put the next step, the next footfall down on the path of spiritual progression. Also, by being attractive according to our personal vibrations, we attract towards ourselves like-minded people. And there is strength in numbers. The more of us that have a similar vibration and a similar intent, the more effective we are across the world. Way number 4. We can also complete our mission with regard to infusing divine light and angelic transformation into this planet by becoming an irritant. By being an irritant. Now, you must all know people who, because of your beliefs, can't stand you. They can't stand you. How can you believe that? Because it's what I believe. It's my right to believe this. It's my right to live in this way. Consider the pearl. The pearl begins as a speck of irritation within the oyster. And the oyster focuses on that speck of irritation and builds a coating around it, builds a pearl around it. And that's what we're doing by sticking to our guns. When people say, how can you believe that? It's because it's what I believe. You're insane. Okay, I'm insane. I'm not going to change my viewpoint because you want me to change my viewpoint. This is my viewpoint. And if I irritate you, all well and good. And I might irritate you for a year or 1,000 years, but eventually that little bit of spiritual grit that I've planted by being me within you, you will start to coat with a higher vibration. And eventually, because I have irritated you by being me, not by actively seeking an aggressive stance with you, that seed that I've planted will cause your awakening. So we have to be dedicated in what we believe. It's easy in here today, isn't it? It's easy to say, yeah, we're all like-minded. But we come up against people who will do their darndest to refute what we believe in, to put it down, to make us look like we're idiots, to argue with us. Don't argue with them. Simply say, I am what I am. I believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. That's fine. And they'll be furious. Furious. You're not supposed to think anything different than they think or act any differently than they act. But by being you and being steadfast, you will plant that little bit of grit within them that will eventually, maybe not even in this lifetime, will eventually lead to their spiritual awakening. Way number 5. We can serve by being spiritually active in our lives. Now, it's great today. We're all together. We're all like-minded. We're all being spiritually active. I'm pontificating. But what happens when today is over? We can't return to the mindset that the world is stronger than we are, that authority is stronger than we are, that material agendas are stronger than we are. We have to be spiritually active as we're being spiritually active now, every day of our lives. Whatever we're doing, whether it's making a cup of tea, or putting an extension on our house, or walking down the street, we have to be spiritually minded. We have to understand that these are only trappings, and that our real reason for being here is to improve things here. And we must never be shaken in that belief, because if not us, who's going to do it? Nobody's coming to save us. We are coming to save us. We are coming to save us. We put ourselves in this mess. We've got to get ourselves out of this mess. And it doesn't matter what others think. It's what we know from the heart that is important. Way number 6, and this will lead into our second gentle meditation for this morning before we break for lunch. Way number 6 is by higher self living. We each have a higher self. There's not enough room in one of these skulls and in one of these hearts to pour in all the experience, all the wisdom that we have gained through countless lives. Won't fit. But we don't lose those experiences. They are gathered together on a higher vibration. There's a higher consciousness that is us. When we reach for the higher self, we're not reaching for somebody else. We're reaching for that which we have already earned. And the more we reach for that which we have already earned, the better equipped we are to tread this path, earthly path, and to deal with the challenges and situations that come to us. I have a friend that cannot believe that my choice medically is to go within and to bring out healing if I find that there's anything out of balance. Cannot believe it. Oh, you need to do this, you need to see this person, you need to see that person. No, I don't. I need to see me. I need to refer to me, the me that's inside. And the me that's inside will tell me whether I can heal myself or whether I need outside advice to heal myself. And if I can heal myself, off we go. I'll visualize it, I'll make it happen, I'll manifest it within me and around me. So, we have to live in connection to that higher self. And the more we connect to the higher self, the more we say, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what to do in these circumstances, but you do. Let's get together on this. Let's allow the correct solution to manifest itself. And it may not manifest itself during our meditation, but it will, sure as eggs is eggs, manifest at some point in our near future because we've asked. We're asking ourselves. We're asking ourselves, the ourselves with greater wisdom, what do we do? And the ourselves with greater wisdom, because it's gained that wisdom in a myriad of situations, including the one that we find ourselves going through currently, says, this is what we do. We've done it before. Simple. And we'll turn on the telly and think, that person's speaking directly to me. Or we'll talk to somebody outside and they'll say something and think, that answers my question. Or we'll pick up a book and there'll be a passage in there that we automatically open to, and that answers our circumstances and our situation. The higher self or higher self speaks to us, but we have first to speak to the higher self, and that's what we're going to do now. And I've called this second morning meditation, Channeling Past Life Wisdom, Higher Self Connection.